Hi everybody, it's Michael here with another episode of a series that I'm calling RepRap 101, where I'm going to go over some of the basic skills that you'll need in order to have a good time building, operating, and maintaining a RepRap 3D printer. And today what I'm going to be talking about is my method for mounting a thermistor into a hot end. And I'm going to make some recommendations that might be a little bit different from what you may have heard before. What you may have heard before is a recommendation where you take your thermistor, and this right here is a thermistor. This is number 5 on the Marlin tables, and I've already put some PTFE sleeving over the leads to keep that protected. And one of the recommendations you may have heard is to just go ahead and slide this into the socket for the thermistor right here, and then bend the leads over and secure it with a strip of Kapton tape. And that is fine most of the time, but I'm going to show you a method that I think works a little bit better for a couple different reasons. Number one is that if you just have that secured by the leads with a strip of Kapton right here, the glass bead of the thermistor may or may not be touching one side of the actual hot end right here, and the rest of it's just going to be surrounded by air, which does not have the greatest thermal transfer properties, so you may end up with a slightly less accurate reading on the thermistor. And the other problem with that is that if that piece of Kapton tape lets go for whatever reason and the thermistor pops out, then there's nothing controlling your the current going into your hot end, and you could actually burn something up that way. So I'm going to show you a method that I have found works pretty well for me, and it's pretty much my new standard method for mounting thermistors into hot ends. What I'm going to be using right here, essentially what I'm going to do is fill up the cavity that the thermistor is going to go into with this paste right here. And in the United States, this stuff is called muffler and tailpipe sealer. What it really is it is just a paste that is based on sodium silicate. Now, sodium silicate is also the same stuff where in the UK and in Europe, furnace cement or glass cement or compounds of that nature is based on. And basically, the sodium silicate has really nice heat transfer properties, and it's also very heat resistant, so you're probably not going to burn it up unless you're doing something really bizarre, but everything else is going to burn up first, but that's another story. So in any case, again, I'm just going to make sure that my compound is based on sodium silicate, which this is. And like I said, I found this in the auto parts section of a retail store right by my house, and this was under $3, which I guess would be about probably £2 and probably pretty close to €3, I think, at the current exchange rate. In any case, like I said, what I'm going to do is just fill up the cavity right here with, I'm just going to stuff it full of this stuff, and then I'm going to put a little bit around the thermistor, and then I'm just going to plug it in and wait for it to cure. Now what I've done here is I've actually filled up this is a 20 cc syringe, and it has a, I want to say the opening on this is about a 1 millimeter inner diameter opening, and this is just a lure lock tip that's put on there. And I got all of this off of Amazon.com. So yeah, I don't know where you are. There may be some restrictions on buying syringes, but I found that you can get these on Amazon with no problem. And of course, this tip does not have a needle, so it can't be used for any kind of nefarious injection purposes. So in any case, like I said, I've loaded up with just about what have I got in here? Probably about 2 cc's of the putty, and that's going to be more than I need, certainly. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to insert the tip into the thermistor socket right here, and I'm just going to squeeze that in until, okay, now I've got it coming out the back side, so now I've got a nice full cavity. If you can see that there, that is now full of the putty. Now what I'm going to do is, again, I've taken this thermistor already, and I've previously covered the leads with some PTFE sleeving, so that's all ready to go. And I'm just going to dip a little bit of that in there so that I've got good coverage. And then I'm just going to plug this right in there like so. And I'm going to aim for about the middle, because this happens to be a through hole. This is now your hot end version 5, by the way. And so this hole right here is drilled all the way through. So I'm going to put that in until I'm guessing it's about in the center. And then I'm just about done. I'm going to just bend the leads back temporarily. And I'm just going to use this little bit of paper towel, wipe off the excess, because that does nothing for us to have extra material floating around the back. And then I'm going to take a look on the other side. I'm going to wipe that clean also. So now I have installed the thermistor in my Alu hot end version 5, mostly metal hot end. Now I'm not quite ready to go yet on this. What I'm going to do now, before I start actually printing with it, is I'm actually going to give this a couple hours to cure. And this stuff is supposed to cure pretty quickly. I'm going to just be sure about it, let it cure a little bit. And then once it has cured, I'm going to install this. And before I start printing, though, I'm going to warm this up to, I find that about 150 degrees centigrade. And I'm just going to let it sit there for probably about 15 minutes or so, just to make sure that any liquid that's in there has been properly cooked and vaporized and everything else, and just kind of let it cure, make sure everything is all well and done and good before I start printing. And that right there is just about all there is that you need to know for this. I would suggest also putting some kind of stress relief on the wires coming off of here. And you may want to, zip tie that to something else. There's also right here, and obviously this hole right here is for a cartridge heater. So, I would probably just wire tie those wires together. So that's about what you need to know. If you have any comments or anything to add, by all means, please comment and make your addition. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.